Awesome. Just making sure that still is coming through. Bertolani kind of incorporated the BI accountant, so that's MK. She is fantastic, kind of with her M scripts. I was really impressed. Kind of just go through that a little bit more. And the documentation is always something that I'm kind of learning a little bit more about. Just all the different properties that are available, and then just putting those through as metadata. That's something that I would probably like to take on a little bit more this year. Kind of within here, the M aspect, so you can see here, writing out this documentation, the examples, and usage. I just think that would be extremely helpful, especially jumping into custom connectors a little bit more. Right here is pretty cool. He even added his own edit, and he had submitted that to the GitHub repository. So I'm really hopeful that that goes through, if it has not already. This is always kind of weird, I'll admit. The equals null. Like, let me scoot back here. So I'm more of the SQL Server space where index is null. And then with this, you have to wrap that around then. So how I would probably approach this problem, go and zoom back out, B is null. So the fact that you can do kind of a comparison operators in M is somewhat interesting to me, just whenever I looked at it. I don't know that I'll ever do it. I'll probably just stick to the is or kind of the not is. So that's kind of that. Be how you would approach it with the not, but strange nonetheless. Was not expecting that by any way, shape, or form. Can I zoom back out here? And then this is the Python execute script as well that I'll go ahead and spit out. Just kind of the underlying code into kind of a CSV, which I would probably be more apt to doing some of those things with the Python connector than I would be the actual cleaning of data. I think there's already some limitations with either the total size that it can import or just some of the limited packages. I mean, they have pandas, which is great. Just the one time I tested it out, it was a little slow, which I was not expecting for Python. And I don't think R is like that either, so maybe that's something that they're going to fix over time. And that was coming right out of preview, so it could have just been kind of a disappointing experience at that time, just with the first release. But I was really proud. I think he did a lot of exceptional work. I really wanted to get to a point where this looked pretty engaging, just as a place to stop and maybe soak it in as if it was a old-time newspaper article. We probably could have gotten some more visualizations on here, but I don't know that they would have helped. I think if anything, it just kind of hurts the story after a while. Even on some of these little things like passenger survived is true. The fact that that's not fully stretched and I can't read kind of with the ellipsis. Just little things like that from a customization standpoint are kind of irking me just from the KPIs. But the underlying AI and kind of ML here, I was really kind of impressed by. Just the ability to click in, get some faster insights, and then keep going. It didn't seem like I was able to send anything back here. Yeah. It doesn't let you give the positive thumbs up, but it lets you give the negative. Poor choice of the visuals. Yeah, it's whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and save this. Really cool, though. If you haven't already started jumping into kind of this key influencers visual, maybe just see what you can. Just from maybe a situation you already know, like the Titanic is coming from a Kaggle. So if we were to kind of look at that here, or Kaggle, not sure how they best pronounce it here. load this page up now. Awesome. So they have a pretty big. This is one of the largest ones here. So 11,218 teams. Kind of the data that you can come out here and download. Just go through some of the different statistics and variables. A very fun machine learning project. Just, well, not the fact that people had, unfortunately perished, but that there's so many people out here actively looking at this data set, trying to solve it, trying to improve upon it. Just kind of the predictability of the information. Kind of what we were looking at. If you had more money, the likelihood of your survival went up, which unfortunately I think is a consistent story. And then people just getting that 100% accuracy here. So you can see some of the top names. Unfortunately, this data set did not come in kind of that top segment here. It was pretty close though. I mean, a couple hundred people off. Yeah, not the worst thing in the world, not the best, but still very impressed with key influencers. So jump into it. Let me know what you think. If you've done it with your business, if you've had positive experiences, if it's still just maybe another visual that is a lot of noise in your story and you've not figured out a good way to kind of express that value. Let's hear about that too. All right, I am jumping off of this stream. Everybody have a good rest of your night. Bye now.